What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 stuff to round up and talk about. So first up, we got a quick update from Bungie to give us a little hint as to how the Thorn quest is going to start. We'll talk about that. They also cover upcoming tiers of the Reckoning. We've got a new trailer for that. Certainly looks like things are about to get interesting. We're going to cover the location of some collectible golden eggs that you can pick up inside of the Reckoning mode. These come with some pretty cool lore. We'll also cover a strategy for Gambit Prime where you can melt a Primeval in literally just a couple of seconds. Bungie talk about issues with powerful gear and bounties, and we're going to cover some rewards for upcoming events and stuff in Destiny 2. So if you enjoyed this video guys, a rating super helps me out, but otherwise let's get right into it. So in this week at Bungie, they talk about a bunch of different stuff, and they say we have the Thorn quest kicking off on March 12th. Of course, we've seen this on the roadmap, but they add that a mysterious spot in the European Dead Zone holds a clue. Seek it out to start your journey in search of the hand cannon shrouded in darkness. So interestingly, we'll have to travel to the European Dead Zone. Bungie say a mysterious spot in the EDZ will hold a clue, but what we don't know is whether there will be kind of a direct prompt to go to a specific location, or whether it's something that we'll have to find ourselves. Personally, I'm kind of hoping for the second one, and when we look at the Thorn quest, the first step is called a melted hunk of metal. Despite the burn damage, you recognize this weapon as a Thorn, a legendary weapon capable of severing guardians from the light. This one is broken, but you think it may be possible to fix it, and a reputable gunsmith would know where to start. So we take the ruined Thorn to Banshee 44 in the tower, and that's the first listed step, so it is possible that to actually begin the quest, we're going to have to find that relic hidden in that mysterious area in the European Dead Zone. So let me know your thoughts about that. Any speculation as to how this could turn out, but of course throughout the quest we'll have to pick up a bunch of different materials, and that includes Hedronic Essence, plasteel plating, and sapphire wire, the original materials for Guardian classes in Destiny 1. And these can be collected in both PvE and PvP content, and there will be a step to get crucible kills with void energy or hand cannons, and finally we'll need to complete a mission called the Chasm of Screams. In terms of time gates though, Cosmo confirmed we'll be able to get this weapon at our own pace starting on March 12th. So we'll keep you guys posted on how to acquire the quest if that's a thing. But Bungie talk about the Reckoning. Tier 1 was the first step. From here, the challenges and the rewards escalate. Of course, Tier 2 is going live later on today, and it will up the difficulty. There'll be additional objectives, areas, and a new boss to battle. Of course, next week though, we will get the Tier 3 version. And on the subject of this, Bungie say this is considered endgame content, requiring power level 680 to enter, and meant to offer a worthy challenge to all you powerful Guardians as you gear up towards max power this season. The activity is set to 690 though, so definitely bring your best gear. And they say, we recommend forming up a fire team for coordination, but matchmaking is still available. So Tier 3 sounds like it's going to be quite a bit more difficult. Bungie actually posted a trailer right here, where we get a look at new sections in the unknown space. Pretty interesting stuff, so check this out.
You have proven yourself worthy. Accept this gift from the Nine.
What gift?
So of course we see some of the new areas. It looks like that huge pyramid is actually going to open up for one of the upcoming tiers. And for Tier 2 it looks like we'll need to push forward along this kind of very long stretch, almost like a bridge, capturing different points as we go. But then they show the portal. This is probably going to be Tier 3, but we can see that it goes into a dark area, and we've got these huge hive blades kind of slashing at us as we push forward. It is interesting that they show the kind of flawless area from Trials of the Nine. Obviously with this being the Reckoning trailer, it's possible that we could actually go to this space. Maybe we get access to this if we complete all 3 tiers. And I've mentioned this before, but especially with the stuff they're showing here, it just struck me that there would have to be some kind of interesting loot table or replayability for the Tier 3 of the Reckoning. And it could be that Arbalist Exotic is actually going to be a drop when you clear Tier 3. There are, however, some pretty interesting golden egg collectibles inside of the Reckoning, and you can get a bunch of these right now. There are a couple that haven't been found, but when you pick them up, it actually gives you lore. And this is for a lore book called Dust. Obviously a bunch of really interesting lore about the Nine in here, so definitely worth picking up. And we don't know if this could be tied or linked to any other kind of secret content, quests or rewards in the future, but if you do want to check that out, I'll run a clip with all of the known locations of these at the end of the video, and I'll timestamp that in the description below. Another quick shout for lore fans, when you turn in Vanguard packages, you can also collect some new lore from the book Stolen Intelligence, They're 10 to pick up, so if you rank up 10 times, I believe you are guaranteed them. Some really interesting stuff in here though, quick spoiler alert, but if you look at the instability book, and this is Akora Ray talking about the Vanguard, in the spirit of honest self-reflection, in the face of justified skepticism, we have begun to discuss the possibility of stepping down to invite new leadership into our place, as well as the general merits of disbanding the Vanguard entirely, largely because we believe that this crisis of identity will plague anyone who steps into this role. So they're actually considering breaking the Vanguard up completely. They also talk about the open position for the Hunter Vanguard, and Akora writes, the situation is unprecedented. Were we to trace the chain of culpability back to its first link, I believe we would be obligated to elect a Hive Guard to our council. Goes on to say, such a debate is of course contingent upon the continued existence of the Vanguard itself. We will make an effort to convene the Hunters as soon as possible, but this group should be well aware that most credible candidates have fled the tower in anticipation of such a debate. So really interesting stuff here, guys. Obviously the lore implications are absolutely massive. There's a lot of stuff that you see in these lore books that kind of appears to be hinting towards the future. So I'd love to hear your thoughts or speculation about what it could all mean, but it definitely appears that the future of the Vanguard on the whole is kind of in question at this point. Now though, let's jump ahead and talk about some Gambit Prime. So some of you may have seen this already, but I actually wanted to talk about a Primeval melt strategy that folks have been using inside of Gambit Prime. I believe originally this was posted by Glad, but the Wardcliff coil does some pretty questionable damage to Primevals inside of Prime. Of course, the weapon in general saw an absolutely massive buff in the update on Tuesday, but as you can see in this clip right here, I actually didn't even get to fire the Wardcliff, but my teammates absolutely obliterated this Primeval in just a couple of seconds. So how does all of this work? Well, basically, during the first damage phase, the Primeval's health is actually capped, so the first time you get an opportunity to do damage, it isn't possible to burn the boss's health all the way down. And of course you have the envoys that you have to take out in order to be able to do DPS in Gambit Prime. However, when you're on the second phase, or your second round of DPS, so the second time that you take down all of the envoys, you're going to end up with Primeval Slayer 2, and there will no longer be a cap on damage. So basically in the first round, if you pepper the boss with, primary weapons, things like that, just do a little bit of damage, wait for that second round, and assuming that you're close enough to the boss so you actually get an envoy die and drop that DPS circle near the boss, you can literally just dump Wardcliff coil into them and kill them very, very quickly. Obviously this is pretty crazy stuff. I think by a long shot this is the most damage that you could actually do to a Primeval at the moment. And as I mentioned, this is something that folks have started doing that they're talking about. And if you experience this in Gambit and it's something you don't know about, obviously you now know how it's done. But also it's something that Bungie should definitely be aware of. I don't really know if this is something they tested or is entirely intentional. It seems to me that the speed the bosses are dying at is pretty crazy. And if you're playing solo, or even in a team that doesn't have Wardcliff coils like this, obviously you're going to be at a pretty severe disadvantage when it comes to doing damage. So what do you guys think? Do you think they need to change the weapon? Do you think they need to adjust the Primeval mechanics somehow? I actually think the Wardcliff buff in general in the game is a really good thing, but I think when it comes to the Primeval burn right here, it might be a little bit excessive. Maybe Bungie could do something that reduces the amount of damage Wardcliff does to Primeval specifically, but once again, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Do you think this is completely broken? Or do you think it's a fair use of an exotic? I know there are definitely going to be mixed opinions about it, so let me know your thoughts down below. But in terms of sharing it, like I said, people are starting to do it now. And I've got no doubt that there'll be teams that'll sit there and wonder what the hell just happened to the enemy team's Primeval. So I suppose at least now you know. Let me know your thoughts about it. Jumping back to this week at Bungie though, they do acknowledge that there's an issue right now with weekly bounty resets, so they say a change was erroneously made, which impacted the availability of several sources for powerful rewards, and specifically weekly bounties from vendors have not yet reset for some players who completed them last week. Many of you guys have spoken about this in the comments. Vendors like Ada1 and Pet Revenge actually have a message saying you've already completed this bounty, and Bungie say we're working to resolve this issue in an upcoming hotfix. In the meantime, players should expect these sources to reset every Sunday, starting at the daily reset on March 10th, so that's this weekend. So it's something Bungie know about, they're working to fix it. All of those should reset if you've been affected by this. They also list a bunch of known issues, things that are affecting clan XP and rewards, weapon pursuits like the Malfeasance quest or pinnacle weapons. So if you have experienced any bugs, you're unable to complete any quests or things like that, I'll link Bungie's blog below where you can check out the known issues list. Final couple of things I wanted to show off right here would be some of the new Iron Banner gear, just in case you're curious. But firstly, there is a new legendary consumable called the Iron Burden. And Bungie previously confirmed that this is an item you can use to actually reduce your power level inside of Iron Banner in order to receive better rewards. So obviously the game will be much harder to play, but somehow it is going to reward you more. Pretty interesting mechanic, we'll have to wait for the event to roll around. But there are of course new sets, so you can see some of the stuff right here for the Hunter. And as we move over to the Warlock, you'll see that a lot of this stuff is kind of reworked original Iron Banner gear for year 2 at least. That's kind of what Bungie have been doing, is reprising this gear and then essentially reskinning it throughout the seasons inside of each year. But of course, there may be some stuff there that you like the look of, so those will be the new sets for Iron Banner. But right here, guys, I'll run a clip that shows the location of the known golden eggs right now inside of the Reckoning. It's possible that others will be hidden in different tiers. Once again, we don't know if this could be linked to any other pursuits in the game at some point, but if you watch the clip, I run right here from location to location of the known golden eggs. But otherwise, if you guys have enjoyed this video, a rating below very much helps me out. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. I'll keep you posted here as always, but for now, thanks for tuning in. I hope you have an awesome day.